Hello and welcome to this edition of News Today. Without delay, let's have a look at the headlines first. 2025 G7 Leaders Summit in Kananaskis, Canada concludes. A new landmark study has pinpointed the location of the universe's missing ordinary matter. Revised mission document of the National Mission for a Green India unveiled. India marks 50 years of its Crocodile Conservation Project in 2025. Global Drought Outlook 2025 released. In a significant development on the global stage, the 51st G7 Leaders Summit 2025 concluded in Kananaskis, Canada, with India participating as an outreach country. This high-level global forum produced several significant outcomes. One of the key highlights was the Kananaskis Wildfire Charter, which reinforces the global commitment to halt and reverse deforestation and land degradation by 2030, in line with the Glasgow Leaders' Declaration on Forest and Land Use 2021. India endorsed this charter, reaffirming its commitment to sustainable development. Additionally, the summit witnessed the launch of the G7 Critical Minerals Action Plan, which builds on the 5-point plan for critical mineral security developed during Japan's G7 presidency in 2023. India also endorsed this initiative, which aligns with global efforts to secure resilient and ethical mineral supply chains. Furthermore, the G7 pledged to strengthen the World Bank-led Resilient and Inclusive Supply Chain Enhancement or RISE partnership, aimed at promoting supply chain resilience. The summit also addressed growing concerns about transnational repression or TNR. TNR is an aggressive form of foreign interference whereby states or their proxies attempt to intimidate, harass, harm, or coerce individuals or communities outside their borders. On the migration front, the group committed to curbing migrant smuggling through the G7 coalition to prevent and counter the smuggling of migrants, and by implementing the 2024 G7 Action Plan to prevent and counter the smuggling of migrants. Under Canada's presidency, the summit launched the G7 Gov AI Grand Challenge, accompanied by a series of rapid solution labs to design innovative, scalable solutions that tackle barriers to AI adoption within the public sector. The initiative also intends to close digital divides in line with the United Nations Global Digital Compact. During the G7 outreach session, the Indian Prime Minister posed sharp questions to the international community, urging a unified stand against terrorism. He asked, will countries understand the grave threat posed by terrorism only when they become a target? How can perpetrators of terror and its victims be equated? And will global institutions be mute spectators to terrorism? Coming back, the G7 Summit is an international forum held annually for the leaders of the G7 member states: France, US, United Kingdom, Germany, Japan, Italy, and Canada, in order of rotating presidency, and European Union. Originating in the 1970s during the energy crisis, it was formed to foster policy coordination and macroeconomics, currency stability, trade, and energy security. In a major breakthrough, researchers from Harvard and Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics or CFA and Caltech have for the first time successfully detected the universe's long-missing ordinary matter using powerful cosmic signals known as fast radio bursts. For years, scientists have known that at least half of the universe's ordinary or baryonic matter was unaccounted for. This study finally offers direct evidence of where that matter lies. According to the findings, the distribution of ordinary matter across the universe is highly uneven. Around 76% of it is found in the intergalactic medium or IGM, a thin gas that stretches between galaxies. Meanwhile, about 15% resides in galaxy halos, which are the outer regions that surround galaxies. Only 9% is located within galaxies themselves, which includes stars, planets, and vast clouds of gas and dust held together by gravity. The study hinges on a deeper understanding of fast radio bursts or FRBs, which are intense, brief blasts of electromagnetic radiation in the form of radio waves. These bursts, typically emanating from distant galaxies, last anywhere from a few milliseconds to just a few seconds. Yet despite their brevity, they carry critical information about the matter they pass through. As FRBs travel across the cosmos, they act like cosmic flashlights. Their radio waves disperse into different wavelengths, similar to how a prism spreads sunlight. The degree of this dispersion helps scientists determine how much matter lies along their path. Through this method, FRBs provided the first direct measurement of the distribution of matter throughout the cosmic web, and in doing so, they established themselves as a reliable and innovative cosmological probe. The study also draws a critical distinction between ordinary or baryonic matter and dark matter. Ordinary matter includes substances such as gas, dust, stars, planets, and everyday materials like water. It interacts with electromagnetic radiation, that is light, and constitutes about 15% of all matter in the universe. Unlike dark matter, ordinary matter is made up of baryons, including protons and neutrons. In contrast, dark matter is an elusive substance that accounts for roughly 85% of the universe's total matter. Unlike ordinary matter, dark matter does not interact with light, making it invisible to traditional observational tools. However, both types of matter share key properties. Both are matter, meaning they possess mass and take up space and exert gravitational force. This groundbreaking study not only fills a crucial gap in our understanding of the universe's composition, but also highlights the growing role of FRBs in modern astrophysics.
Moving on, the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has unveiled the revised mission document of the National Mission for a Green India, also known as the Green India Mission or GIM. The announcement came on June 17th, marking the World Day to combat desertification and drought. Let's take a closer look at the mission. Launched back in 2011, the Green India Mission is one of the 8 core missions under India's National Action Plan on Climate Change or NAPCC. The key objectives? Well, to increase forest and tree cover across forest and non-forest lands with an ambitious target of afforestation over 24 million hectares. The mission also aims to improve ecosystem services, particularly carbon sequestration, and to help create an additional carbon sink of 2.5 to 3.0 billion tons of carbon dioxide equivalent by 2030. The revised mission document lays out 3 submissions: improving forest quality and ecosystem services, increasing forest or tree cover and restoring ecosystems, and enhancing and diversifying incomes for forest-dependent communities. As for the funding model, it will draw partly from the mission's dedicated allocation and the rest from the National CAMPA Fund, that's the Compensatory Afforestation Fund Management and Planning Authority. The timeline for the mission has been fixed at 10 years, spanning from 2021 to 2030. The mission follows a bottom-up implementation model, with joint forest management committees playing a central role. Now, let's talk strategy. The revised mission aligns closely with India's nationally determined contribution or NDC commitments under the Paris Agreement. One major step is the micro-ecosystem approach, which focuses on vulnerable landscapes such as the Aravalis, Western Ghats, Northwestern arid zones, mangroves, and the Indian Himalayan region. There's also an effort to bring in the private sector, for example, through CSR funds to restore degraded areas or support villages via committed individuals. The mission also explores the potential of voluntary carbon markets, allowing carbon credits from forestry and agroforestry plantations to be sold for additional support. Finally, the revised document introduces the Green India Force, a cadre of dedicated and trained youth who will help implement interventions and maintain assets creating under the mission. India marks 50 years of its Crocodile Conservation Project in 2025. The celebration comes on the eve of World Crocodile Day, observed every year on June 17. Let's begin with the background. The Crocodile Conservation Project was formally launched on April 1, 1975, based on the recommendations of H.R. Bustard. The main goal was to protect the natural habitats of crocodiles and rebuild their population through captive breeding. The project received technical and financial support from UNDP FAO through the Government of India. India's success in crocodile conservation has been significant. Odisha has played a unique role. It is the only state in the country with conservation centers for all three native crocodilian species. These include Tikarpada in Satkosia for gharial, Dangamal in Bhitarkarnika for saltwater crocodile, and Ramtirath in Simlipal for mugger crocodile. Let's talk numbers now. The saltwater crocodile population has recovered to around 2,500 individuals, with Bhitarkanika in Odisha hosting the largest share. These crocodiles are also found in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands and the Sundarbans in West Bengal. Meanwhile, the mugger crocodile population has bounced back to between 8,000 and 10,000 individuals, reclaiming much of its historical range, particularly the Ganga River drainage. As for the gharial, over 400 gharial nests are recorded every year across the National Chambal Sanctuary, which spans 3 states, along with Katarnia Ghat Wildlife Sanctuary, Gandak River, Corbett Tiger Reserve, and the Sun Gharial Sanctuary. Notably, India now holds 80% of the global wild gharial population. In 2025, India also launched a new gharial conservation project to expand gharial populations across the Ganga, Brahmaputra, and Indus rivers, as well as the Mahanadi River in Odisha. Additionally, the Badras crocodile banks continue to play a key role in breeding crocodiles and supporting reintroduction programs. Crocodiles are among the most ancient and fascinating reptiles. There are 13 known crocodile species in the world, including the Nile crocodile and the saltwater crocodile. Out of these, India is home to 3 native species: the saltwater crocodile, the marsh crocodile or mugger, and the gharial. The saltwater crocodile is the largest living crocodile and also the largest living reptile on Earth. Crocodiles are nocturnal creatures and are poikilothermic, meaning they can only regulate their body temperatures to a limited extent. Now, let's take a closer look at the 3 native crocodilian species found in India, their conservation status, and the legal protection. The saltwater crocodile, also known as the estuarine crocodile or salty, is listed as least concern by the International Union for Conservation of Nature or IUCN. It is protected under Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act or WPA in India and listed in Appendix 1 of the Convention of International Trade in Endangered Species or CITES. The marsh crocodile or mugger, also called the broad-snouted crocodile, is classified as vulnerable by the IUCN and is similarly protected under Schedule 1 of the WPA and listed in Appendix 1 of CITES. The gharial, also known as the fish-eating crocodile or Indian gavial, is critically endangered according to the IUCN and receives the highest level of protection under both Indian and international conservation frameworks.
Moving on, the Global Drought Outlook 2025, released by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, highlights a concerning rise in the frequency and intensity of droughts worldwide. First, let's take a look at the types of droughts: meteorological, hydrological, and agricultural or ecological, and their underlying climatic and environmental drivers. It begins by identifying key climatic drivers, such as precipitation, snowpack, and temperature. A decline in precipitation and snowpack directly affects the availability of water in different forms, while increased temperatures influenced by factors like solar radiation, wind, and CO2 levels enhance evaporation and evapotranspiration, leading to further drying of the land. These climatic changes impact major water sources and reservoirs. Reduced precipitation and snowpack lower the recharge of groundwater and surface water bodies. This depletion results in hydrological droughts. Simultaneously, the reduction in soil moisture, aggravated by high evaporation and limited water availability, contributes to agricultural or ecological droughts, affecting vegetation and crop health. At the initial stage, meteorological droughts occur due to prolonged periods of below-average rainfall, which then cascade into other forms of drought as water availability across systems declines. Coming back to the findings of the report, around 40% of the world's land area is increasingly experiencing severe droughts, with notable recent examples including Europe in 2022, California in 2021, and the Horn of Africa and Somalia. The economic impact of such droughts is significant, with the cost of an average drought episode increasing annually by 3% to 7.5%. Countries such as India and Australia may see disruptions in the functioning of hydroelectric power stations due to water scarcity. Additionally, inland water transport systems are being affected, as seen in the recent drought conditions at the Panama Canal. In the agricultural sector, crop yields may decline by as much as 22%, threatening food security and livelihoods. From an ecological perspective, the effects are equally alarming. Since 1980, about 37% of global land area has undergone significant declines in soil moisture, while 62% of monitored aquifers around the world show signs of groundwater depletion. Moreover, droughts account for 34% of disaster-related deaths, according to a 2021 report by the World Meteorological Organization. These events also deepen issues of poverty, inequality, and displacement, especially in vulnerable regions. To address these challenges, several global and national initiatives have been undertaken. At the international level, the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, Drought Initiative, and the International Drought Management Program, led jointly by the World Meteorological Organization and the Global Water Partnership, aim to provide policy and technical support for drought resilience. In India, programs such as the National Agricultural Drought Assessment and Monitoring System, or NADAMS, and the Watershed Development Component under Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana and the Atal Bhujal Yojana play a crucial role in monitoring and managing drought risks. In today's Place in News, we turn to Iran with its capital, Tehran. In recent developments, the IAEA confirmed that Israel's Operation Rising Lion caused damage to uranium enrichment halls at Iran's Natanz site, as revealed through satellite imagery. Iran's other key nuclear facilities include Fordo Enrichment Facility, Bushehr Nuclear Power Plant, Isfahan Nuclear Technology, among others. Now, let's turn to the political features of the country. Iran is located in the Middle East, bordered by the Gulf of Oman and Persian Gulf to the south and the Caspian Sea to the north. It shares land borders with countries like Armenia, Azerbaijan to the north, Iraq to the west, Turkey to the northwest, Afghanistan and Pakistan to the east, and Turkmenistan to the north and northeast. Geographically, Iran is dominated by the Iranian plateau, with vast deserts such as Dasht-e-Kavir and Dasht-e-Lut shaping its terrain. It's flanked by the Zagros Mountains in the west and Alborz Mountains in the north.
As we conclude today's main news, let's have a look at some quick updates. Exercise Shakti will be conducted at Camp Larzac, La Cavalerie, France. It is a biennial joint military exercise between India and France. Other joint exercises with France are Exercise Varuna, Navy, and Exercise Garuda, Air Force. Under Swachh Bharat Mission Urban, certain cities are integrating electric vehicles into household waste collection. This is supported by the Sustainable Cities Integrated Pilot Approach project. Himachal Pradesh has opened the Shipki La Pass, a motorable mountain pass in the Kinnaur district, to domestic tourists. It was closed after the Doklam standoff 2020. Shipki La Pass connects India and Tibet. Researchers developed policy proposals to revive Dhansri after studying its pollution status. Dhansiri River originates from Laisang Peak of Nagaland and flows along the boundary between Karbi Anglong and Nagaland. Researchers have discovered 24-23 million-year-old fossilized leaves. The key finding from this discovery is that the fossil leaves have been identified as belonging to the genus Nothopegia, a plant group that today is found only in Western Ghats. Barak Megan, the Hebrew name of lightning shield, is Israel's shield against Iranian drones. Barak Megan is an advanced naval air defense system developed by Israel Aerospace Industries. NASA ISRO-SAR, or Synthetic Aperture Radar mission, has arrived at ISRO spaceport in Sriharikota for its launch. NISAR will scan nearly all of Earth's land and ice surfaces twice every 12 days. Union Minister for Agriculture paid tributes to freedom fighter Buddhu Nonia at his centenary celebrations and hailed Nonia community for Nonia rebellion in 1770s. Responding to Gandhiji's call during the salt satyagraha, Buddhu Nonia took part in making salt. He was deceitfully arrested and killed.
Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Learning. Thank you for joining us. We hope you found this episode of News Today engaging. For the solutions to the quiz and to access the PDF version of News Today, remember to visit the provided links in the description.